How to build a BMX bike. Sponsored by the instructional DVD Ground Rules. Bike's going to straighten out and the handlebars are going to make a T with it. That's halfway through. Let the frame continue to swing around. Put your left foot on the top tube. More info about Ground Rules at mattbmx.com.
Now, if you don't ride with brakes, you're ready to go ride. If you want to ride with brakes like me, we're going to put on our levers next. We're just going to put the back lever over like this, tighten this Allen wrench, just finger tighten it with your fingers first, and then tighten it down with the Allen wrench. And I like the levers pretty much straight up and down, maybe a little bit in front, but almost straight up and down. And I like that because then if the handlebars are forward, it's pretty close, but if they're backward as well, then the grip is pretty much about the same. Now we'll install the front one as well. Same deal. Alright, it's time to put on the front brakes down on the fork, so I'm going to wait to put this on first. So what I want to do is grease up the mounts for the brake arms, and we're going to do that down here. Again, use our spoke and some grease, put some around the mount, and I also like to put some in the mount as well so the threads don't get stripped out. Again, we're thinking about the longevity of our bike parts. Want them to last as long as we can, so that's why we're greasing everything up. We'll do it to both sides. Just around like that, and in there as well. Now we're ready to put on our brake arms. Here's the first one we're going to put on. Just slide it right on, just like this. And we can just tighten it just a little bit with our finger for now. Let's get both of them on, and then we'll worry about tightening them down. Okay, so I'm going to tighten the brake arms down, not all the way, not enough to get any spring tension on there, just enough to where they're pretty firm against the mount. We'll worry about the spring tension last, after we do the cable. So we have the lever and the brakes on the bike. Here's our cable. We want to measure the cable to the perfect length, so we're just going to put it in for right now, not even worry about cutting it yet. You want to measure twice, cut once. So what we're going to do, throw this through. It's a really long cable. We're probably going to use like a third of this. Put the head of the cable in here, into the lever. Pull this very tight. Okay. Now here's something really important up here. You want the cable to go over the top of your crossbar, just like this, and this will hold it up so it's not rubbing against your tire down there. And here's the other important thing when you measure. You want your cable to bend just like this and come into the brake arm right here. Now see this? This is going to be too long because it's going to rub against the tire. If you have it too short like this, it's going to be way too tight. It's not going to pull right, and you're probably going to snap that cable in about a week. So you want it somewhere in between, probably right about somewhere like this. So what I would do is I just take the wire cutters, kind of put just a little crease in there so I know where to cut, and then take it off and cut it. Okay, we're going to look for those little marks we made with the wire cutter. We pulled the inside cable out, so now we're not cutting the inside cable when we cut the outside, and just give it a pop like that. Now, what you want to look for, you want to make sure you got a good clean cut. I got a pretty good one here. Let me show you a little trick. We're going to take our inside cable, feed it through just a little bit like this. Now, since I cut it, it really clamped the casing down. The cable doesn't want to go through too well, so we're going to force it through. It's still a little tight on there. Now what I like to do, I take the smallest Allen wrench I can find, and I take the Allen wrench and I just put it right in here and just kind of open it up, bore it out as much as I can, just like that. Now that cable is going to slide through there real easily. Now in a normal cable you have two parts, so the casing and the inner cable. I have something here called a Diatech Flexi, and this works real well because you have a barrel adjuster on the end, and it just really helps the bend of the cable too. So I'm going to feed the inner cable through the flexi, and then I'm going to put it through the regular outside casing. And this is going to be great when you see how this works. Let's just pick up our bike here. We'll feed it through the stem bolt again, straight down to the bottom. Now we are going to take we're almost ready to go here. We're going to take this top part, put it right through the lever, and just yank down on this, get everything nice and tight. And this is where we want to make sure, before we tighten anything down, make sure that you've measured correctly. In this case, I'm just going to pull it like this. Look at that, a perfect measurement right there. This might take you some time to get used to, but after you do it a couple times, you'll be perfect at it. Alright, so we just measured the cable. We know it's the right length. Now we can oil it. You don't want to oil the cable first, because if you have to cut it again, everything's going to get real messy. So I just have this, it's kind of like a tri-flow. You don't want to use WD-40 or anything like that, or grease. Put a little bit on, feed it through, just a little bit at a time, just like this. And this can make a huge difference. Alright, so we got our cable all oiled up. Now we just need to tighten the cable down so we have the right tension on it. And I'm just going to get it kind of in a loose position. Now remember, we didn't tighten the spring tension yet, and we didn't do that because it's so much easier to work on your brakes when there's no tension on them. I'm just going to grab the Allen wrench that tightens this down. Now here's something I like to do. I travel a lot with my bike, and I have to take the brake cable off quite a bit. So what I like to do, I like to have a quick release thing. So what you want to do for a quick release mechanism, make sure that your barrel adjuster is all the way in, right up here, right here. You want that barrel adjuster all the way in. And what we're going to do, down here where my fingers are, you're going to make it so when you squeeze the brakes together with your hands down here, that you can still take the bolt, the adjuster out, okay? So we got it about right where we want it. We're just going to tighten it down. And now the beauty of this is when you need to take your bike apart, when you're going to the airport, you could just squeeze the brakes and you could take your cable off just like that. I'm just going to grab this wrench, take the Allen wrench, tighten this bolt down against the cable. This will lock it on there, so when we squeeze, the cable will not slide through. Okay, we got it real tight, and we are almost done. Now we just have to put that in there. Now, spring tension is just something you have to do with a lot of trial and error. I'm going to cut this cable here because sometimes that affects the spring tension. So we're going to cut that cable, just kind of tuck it in now. Now spring tension it's real hard to get used to. A lot of people put too much tension in their springs. Some people don't put enough. I like it just perfect, and to do that, I'm going to tighten one side at a time. Now you have to think, you're going to tighten this, which way are you going to move this bolt right here to get the brake to come out? You want it to spring back. So we're going to take this, we're just going to turn it this way, and see, it makes the arm come out this way. So we're just going to put a little bit of tension on this side, tighten it down, kind of see what happens. Let's pull it. Okay, that side's coming back. Now let's do the same. This bolt you're going to turn the opposite way because you want the brake arm to come this way. So we're going to turn this one out. And tighten down the top bolt. And now our brakes work real good. Now the last thing that we do, we just come back up top, right up here to where our barrel adjuster is. And that's why I like using this Diatech Flexi so much. And we just kind of turn it and tighten this. And the more we turn this, the tighter the brakes are going to get. So you can just, it's about right where I like them. And now you say, as we turn that, the one arm is pulling a little bit more than the other arm. So we're just going to want to fix that. We're going to want to put a little bit more tension on this side right over here. And again, just monkey around with this, go back and forth, and eventually you'll want your brakes pulling evenly from both sides. And that is perfect. That's exactly how we want our brakes.